Welcome back. It's that time of the week again. It is 2:30 p.m. on a Thursday afternoon in lovely California, and we are coming at you live on Facebook and sometimes our other channels as well. Welcome. Buckle your seatbelts. It's going to be a great show today. We're going to be talking with an expert in growing your Facebook audience, and we're going to get into the nitty-gritty on some of the techniques, tips, and tricks you can use to grow your audience. Now, you've heard some of them before on the show, but I think this particular expert brings a unique perspective to this topic and has some really, really detailed tips for you guys as we get into it. So that'll be the bulk of our half hour. I have a couple quick news and announcements coming at you. This is Wirecast Live. I'll see you after the opening credits. Welcome. Welcome back, everybody, to Wirecast Live. I'm your host, Andrew Haley, and each week on this show on Thursdays at this time, we like to go live and give you guys tips, tricks, bring on experts in their field who know more about stuff than we do, or we could teach you ourselves. We may be the Wirecast experts, but we are not the experts in everything else related to live video and live video streaming. So that's why we go out and find some of the best and the brightest people to bring on the show to talk with and unpack some really critical learning tools and techniques and strategies that you can use, whether it's in your business, in your marketing, whether you use live video and you want to know more about production, audio, lighting, all kinds of stuff. We even talk about building your business, building audiences like we will today. So this is where you can come to find all that. Again, we try to go live every week here at this time, but you can always get an email and get delivered to your inbox of the latest guests that are coming up or what we had on the show earlier that week. And there's an easy way to sign up for that email list. It is at telestream.net/WirecastLive. That's the name of the show. All one word. We won't spam you. We just send you an email notification of what the show is and when we're live. Additionally, we also have, of course, our social notification channels, which you can sign up for. YouTube has a way to get notified every time we go live on our YouTube channel. We have a Facebook notification and channel page where we're streaming now, and I see many of you are joining now, so welcome. And then we also have our Twitter and Periscope accounts, which we try to update regularly, and we post out any information on the show. So any of those ways are great places to get notified and get signed up. And of course, we have a growing Facebook users community, so you can join the Wirecast users on Facebook and ask questions. We do live Q&As there. We will be doing some sort of sneak peek and preview stuff upcoming. I've got a couple things I'm going to be talking about in the next few days, weeks, some of them around tally lights and setting up some cool new tally light systems and things you can do with Wirecast. So we try to keep the community active, and that's a great place to go get plugged in if you want to ask questions. All right, speaking of news and announcements, just a couple quick ones. If you're curious, you've been following what's been going on here. Facebook is changing their API, and a lot is going on around that. So you're going to want to make sure that you stay up to date. We will post information as it's available. We did send out an email to all of our Wirecast users letting them know that there are changes on the platform, and your safest way right now is to just stay on the latest version, because our engineers are talking to the Facebook engineers, and as things change, we become aware of them, we change stuff, and then we put out a new version if we need to. Additionally, older versions of Wirecast, version 7, version 6, and even some of the early version 8 stuff is going to be breaking. You won't be able to log into your Facebook account anymore in Wirecast and schedule and manage your live events on Facebook, because Facebook's going to take away or break the way that older version works. So get that's something you need to be aware of if you're using older versions of Wirecast. You'll still be able to use the generic RTMP streaming, which you can obviously schedule or create the event on your Facebook page, and then you copy that stream key into Wirecast's generic RTMP. So that will still be available, but only until next year, because once again, Facebook has informed us they will be switching from just a generic unencrypted RTMP, which is how the old versions of Wirecast work. They do unencrypted RTMP to encrypted or RTMP-S. And that is going to be that's something we implemented in Wirecast 8.3 and 9 and moving forward. So now you'll have that accessibility in the newer versions if you want to go generically or just enter your stream key in Wirecast. But with older versions, Facebook will reject that stream. So once again, that'll go until next year. I think Facebook has put on their developer blog that they will be turning that off next year, probably early to mid-year. So just be aware, even that other option for you will be limited. Okay, that's kind of your news for the week on Facebook. We had a great webinar as well that we dove into the new features. So if you want, it was on Tuesday. It went really well, and I would highly recommend checking it out if you're at all curious. We did a deep dive into PTZ control. We did a deep dive into the X-Keys controller, into paired encoding, which I didn't even mention, but you can actually now pair Wirecast with Facebook in the new version 9 and above, which is another kind of way to quickly get going and broadcasting. It doesn't replace the other way to stream to Facebook, but it just is another way to kind of sync them up. There's some advantages there. If you have questions, we can cover that, but all that is actually in the webinar. So you can go sign up for that or check it out. It's at telestream.net/events, which is on our events page. Okay, I think that covers my sort of brief Wirecast related news and announcements. There's the URL if you want to go get the webinar and go find out. And again, it was about an hour. It was a great audience. We had good questions, and I tried to get through all the new features you need to know about and actually give some time and really walk through how to set them up. How do you set up those PTZ cameras to work with Wirecast and control them, and even as you punch a button, the camera automatically goes to its new position. Okay, without further ado, though, I think it's time to bring on our guest and dive into the topic for today. I'm very excited to talk with this guest about growing your Facebook audience. There's very few people out there that I think are really walking the walk on this and doing the work, and Owen is one of them. So joining me today live on the show via our Skype New Tech Talk Show machine is Owen Video. He is an author, a marketing consultant. He is a live video host of the podcast show called The Business of Video Podcast. He's a great host. He actually interviewed me when I was at Social Media Marketing World, and I'm really excited. You can find him every week on BeLive TV and other areas, and you can also go find out more about him at thevideospot.net. So, Owen, without that sort of rambling introduction, welcome. Thanks for being on the show, man.
Hey man, so good to be here. I'm like watching the show on Facebook while I'm sitting here looking at my camera, and I don't know which is more exciting. You know what I mean? Watching you or about to be interviewed by you. I'm bursting with excitement here.
It's my pleasure. I'm actually excited to interview you because we get to turn the tables a little bit. I've been watching some of your stuff. It's been appearing on my Facebook feeds. You're really engaging. I saw a really funny session you did with a family member or your brother-in-law. You guys were joking around, pretending about like how that was something was a much bigger deal than it really was, and there was you guys have a really good sense of humor, and I really like the way you just keep it casual but fun on your show.
Well, thanks, man. Like that was the goal when we started the show, is that all of these podcasts, these business marketing podcasts, were like hey, here we are and we're super serious and we wear shirts and ties and blah, 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 blah. And I go, this is why I don't listen to podcasts, because it's also stuffy. And I wanted to have a show that reminded me of the, when I was in high school, me and my buddy would go to school every morning and we would listen to the Kevin and Bean show. And I'm not sure, you're from LA, so maybe you know that show, but we would just laugh our tails off all the way to school, and it got us going in a good mood. And that's the show I've wanted to have. I've wanted to have a show where you log in, you tune in, and you're laughing before your workday even really gets started. That's what we've tried to create with the show. So I'm glad to hear that we're accomplishing that to some degree. Yeah,
you've got a good example is maybe even just your Facebook profile picture. I'm seeing you're responding to some of the comments here in the stream, just saying hi to folks. And for those of you who are just joining us or just getting in here, I just want to do shout-outs to folks like Lutz, who's a regular here, Ross Brand, great to see you, and Deb, all people I recognize from kind of recurring audience members, and some of whom have actually been on the show as well. So I just want to say that it's great to see that, and your profile pic actually stands out to me because it's like super cash. You've got like this, but it's also business up front. You got the tie, but you have the short sleeve, and you look. That's awesome. I mean, it kind of to me just represents your brand right there.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, I've never been great at, and thank you, and I've never been great at the branding side of things. You know what I mean? I want to be, like everybody. I want to grow, but one of the big things I've learned about having some success on YouTube and having some success on Facebook has been be who you are. And who I am is sort of like in your face and fun. And I'm also, kind of like good at the video side of things and sales. That's part of who I am. So we want to be approachable. We want to be relatable, and we want to have great products and services that people can connect with, that help them to grow their business. And we're trying to accomplish all those things, in one shot. That profile picture is actually the first time I ever did like professional.
A photo shoot.
Yeah. Like I didn't know what I was doing, and I'm like, I'll wear this, I guess.
It
and
looks
now
good.
I wouldn't wear a tie at all, but at the time it worked, and we're gonna do some new ones where I wear more of this kind of attire.
I think it still works. Like I said, it shows to me that you're a pro, but you're not. You're an approachable pro, and I wouldn't throw out all of the old ones because to me they work. But you'll have to make your own calls on that stuff. But real quick, let's talk about before we get into how to grow your Facebook audience and some of the things that you've learned along the way. Tell me a bit about your journey to this point, where you said that you've as you built your business, you're primarily a consultant, but you're becoming more and more of a video host. And as you've hosted the podcast, when did you start the podcast? And then how long has that been going? And then maybe even back up before that, when did you kind of get into the business of being a marketer, a marketing consultant?
Yeah, it's a great question. So we'll start at the beginning. I came from a working class family in Long Beach, California. From I was a young kid, I was verbally abused aggressively by my mom, and she had sort of felt like she wasted her life. And so she constantly beat us down, and she was constantly telling us that she was the only person in the family that was worth anything, and she was the only one who was going anywhere. Keep in mind, she said this while she was cracked out in a blue, terry cloth robe. My mom was a prescription drug addict. So she told me people like me will never be anything but a trash man. And two things on that. My trash man is amazing. What an amazing guy, right?
Yeah.
Incredible work. He shows up on time every day. And number two, it was a complete lie, right? So when I was a kid, I got really into video and into theater and escaping from the life that I was in. And video was always an escape. So I had these jobs I kept getting fired from. People go, why'd you keep getting fired? I go, square peg, round hole, right? I didn't belong in a job. I would get hired for a job. Like I got hired at a restaurant, well-known restaurant chain. It's a matter of fact, whenever we go out to eat, I tell my wife, hey, I remember when I got fired from here. But the first thing I did as I came into this restaurant was I started changing the closeout procedures. I was like, these closeout procedures don't make sense. And that's just typical of me, like why I'm changing things before I even knew how things worked.
Mm-hmm.
I'm an innovator. And when I finally lost I lost my last job, and I should have lost it. I wasn't great at that position. I decided that was it. I was going to focus my life on video and the things that I was passionate about, which is writing and performance. In fact, I see we have Marcus Campbell out there. Marcus Campbell is someone who's got a special place in my heart because we did go to high school together, and then we lost touch for 15 years and came back in touch through the YouTube community. So I got into video, and I'll tell you what, I was successful almost immediately. Marcus is saying, I remember when we ran around the grocery store with video cameras in high school and we always got kicked out. Yeah, I remember that too, and I still sort of do that with my kids a little bit. I got involved with making video for e-commerce companies, right? My dad owned an e-commerce company, and so I made videos for him on the product, and I was like, and look at this little product here that does this and this. We started selling so many, I thought, like these gold diggers from the 1840s, I was like, why make videos for these companies when I can teach these companies how to make video?
Yeah, why try searching for gold nuggets when you can make the picks and the shovels?
Yeah, that's exactly right. Exactly right. So I began to serve the business community in that realm. And I'll tell you, Andrew, we were successful almost immediately. We had a six-figure business the first year. Graduated college at 32 years old, I think at this time. I was a newlywed. I had a brand new son. And my goal was never, ever, ever to have to work again. And if you guys can relate to that, if you guys are watching this right now and you can relate to that, do me a favor and just like bomb this video right now. Let us know that you relate to that struggle. And since then, we've never had a job. We've never had to go back on that. We've been making video and evolving our company. At first, we were making video or helping customers make video. Now we're helping companies market the video and get more exposure on the video that they already have. So that's sort of like the long/short version of how I got started.
And give me a time frame on that. Was that when did you launch that company? Was that a couple years ago, 5 years ago?
Yeah, okay. So 5 years ago, I graduated from college. I went back to school to be a filmmaker, and then I realized, I don't need college to be successful.
Right. Took me all of college to figure that out too.
Right, but I still went and I still graduated, and I still graduated top of my class, and so I'm proud of that achievement. So we launched the company immediately after that, and the company was called Simple Business Video Marketing. And it was all about SEO and ranking on SEO. And I see, by the way, David Maradiaga is watching. Air 5, buddy. Yeah. We launched the company under that name, and we were very successful. But then a few years later, I started following the HubSpot inbound marketing model.
Yeah.
Inbound leads. And so I changed the name to Video Spot. That was about 2 years later. So Video Spot has been around for maybe like 3 to 4 years, something right around that time frame. And we're more of a marketing consultation firm, right? So now people will come to us. We either help them make their videos, meaning we help them hire and connect them to digital video marketing teams.
Yep.
But more importantly, we help them develop the inbound strategies so that those videos actually create a result, right? Nobody ever did business with a video they didn't see, right? So has to get found in the news feeds, and that's really our specialty now.
That's awesome. So that's exactly the type of stuff that I think a lot of the viewers want to know about, because you can make great videos. I mean, it's one thing to master the art of the lighting, cameras, videography, the technical side of video production and audio. There's a lot of challenges there, and as a filmmaker, you relate to this, and I know as well that that's a whole discipline in of itself. But once you let's say you master that and you make this awesome looking video, that's just hurdle number 1. Hurdle number 2 is the distribution, and then the call to actions and the conversions and the actual funnels from that point on. So it's really this linking of great content with great context, and then taking it to completion for a whole sales cycle. And that's where you're firing on all 3 cylinders, not just content, but distribution and placement and sort of conversion side. So that has been the journey the last 3 years for you. How is that going? What have you learned over the last few years? I think places like social media marketing world, that's really one of the biggest sort of top topics that I just kept seeing a lot of influencers bring up and speakers. I mean, it was really around that piece of it, whether they were focused on part 1, part 2, or part 3 of it. What have you learned in the last few years?
I've learned a ton, and I'll try to condense that down, because Social Media Marketing World is an amazing conference. I would say it's top of my list when it comes to the social media aspect side. Number 2, I would say, is Video Marketing World. And Vid Summit. These are amazing conferences for the video side of things. And Video Marketing World really focuses on connecting video makers to businesses and to brands, and finding out how they can work together. So going to conferences is a huge thing. Number 1 is I was just at ClamorCon, and I spoke on a topic about monetization. And this is what I led with. I said, I can't show you how to get 500,000 subscribers. What I can show you how to do is make $500,000. Mm-hmm. And there's a big difference there. Right now, in sort of like the video marketing space, like everyone's trying to be a celebrity. Right. Everyone wants to be like a superstar. And that's cool. Like, I'm not here to knock your dreams, right? I'm not here to kick you in the satchel on that. What I want to express to you, though, is that I'm at this conference where everybody there has 1 million subscribers, 500,000 subscribers, right? They got like 40,000 Instagram followers. And they're not making any money, right? YouTube, for example, is killing AdSense by the day. Like every day there's a new rule coming about how you're not able to make any more AdSense money, or less AdSense money, or you're being demonetized. You have got to find a way to turn your videos into revenue, and this is what I specialize in. So let's talk about a few of those things. Number 1, I want to share with you guys the P3 content strategy, okay? The P3 content strategy: platform, people, and purpose, right? Make your videos for the platform it's going to be uploaded to. If you're going to upload to Facebook, don't just re-upload your YouTube video there, because on YouTube, you're going to use language that doesn't make sense on Facebook. Hey, subscribe to my channel. Well, on Facebook, you don't subscribe, you follow. And so people know that you cut corners, and rather than address a message to them, you're just re-uploading a message that was designed for someone else. that brings us to number 2, people, right? Figure out who the people are that you're marketing to, right? Like, who is your core avatar? For me, it's creators. I market to creators and I teach them how to monetize, but I also market to business owners, brands, social media managers, the marketers, that type of thing.
Right.
You've got to really dial in your message. You can't just talk to everybody. You say, oh, well, we serve everybody. Anybody can buy our product. Well, that might be, but you want to divide up that anybody into multiple different segments. Maybe you make a series of videos designed for your soccer mom segment. Maybe, and then you focus on the soccer mom needs. Then maybe you've got another segment that's like the overworked executive, and then focus on their needs in a few videos. So that's people. And then 3 is purpose. Every video should have a purpose, whether it's to buy something, click something, or just to watch something. Too many times I've heard all of this, and mostly from small business owners, people that are stocked up or stored up in local like strip malls and whatnot. There's this sense of I'm starving, and I only have enough money for one video. Well, I'm sorry about that. You know what I mean? That's not my problem. Nobody ever made it big on one video, and they certainly didn't do it
except Chewbacca Mom.
Yeah, well, but and here's the thing about Chewbacca Mom is she's a vlogger. Like this was her like 1,000th video. Right. She was making videos for 2 years, and then this one finally hit. We call her an overnight success, but really she's been a vlogger for quite some time. This is the thing with businesses is that like you have got to invest in video as an ongoing strategy. Right. And you'll make some videos will be about, hey, just like and follow my page. Hey, in this video, I'm going to make a video on how to block a punch. Right. If you're a karate dojo. Right. I'm going to make a video on how to block a punch this way, how to block a punch that way. Follow my page for more tips. And that's all you're asking from that video. Too many times it's like, hey, if you like this video, come and sign up for a free course for $50 and then like my page and then share this video and please somebody do business with me. Oh my gosh, it gets so desperate out there. One video, one purpose. I mean, it's okay to be like, hey, we got a sale going on. Come on in this Saturday, pick up some of our new hats and we've got some new shirts. Come on and check it out. Hey, if you like this video, share it on your timeline. There's nothing wrong with like a secondary call to action. Right. But you got to focus like what, in the end of the day, what are you going to measure from this video? Are you going to measure sales, likes, clicks, watches? And that should be your primary focus.
I think that's a fantastic tip. Is purpose. Each video, one purpose is a fantastic takeaway from this. So the 3 P's of marketing, that was an awesome just exposition of that whole piece of that. So I think right there was amazing that you just went over all of those so quickly. And I think each person watching, if you guys like that, please let him know in the comments. That was awesome. Thank you, Owen. So go ahead.
Yeah. Only because I'm like a little drunk on Dayquil and drinking coffee. So like you got me at a good time.
I can't tell that this is like you haven't talked about this before. Like it seems like maybe this is something that you do for a living. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, right. Yeah, exactly. It doesn't seem as off the cuff as maybe some other.
We'll start asking you more personal questions and see what we can get out of you in a second. Okay, but I think we should dive in a little bit and now focus it on Facebook as a platform. So if Facebook as a platform is and it's the first P in the 3 Ps. How does somebody, and I've got the slide, I actually took our talking points, I threw them up real quick and made a couple quick slides. So let's start with this. How to grow your audience, your Facebook audience, and this is going to be Owen's first tip here. Video production techniques. I added the word techniques. But let's talk a little bit about this. This is kind of getting your base under you, your audio, your video, right? So is that just mandatory? That's like hygiene. That's like table stakes for this.
Yeah. Okay. So when it comes to your video production techniques, you got to think about again the Facebook platform. Facebook is not, it's not like YouTube. YouTube, someone says, "Hey, I'm gonna go and watch some videos for a bit," right? Right. Whereas on Facebook, people go in and they say, "Hey, what's happening on Facebook?" And your video has to pull them out of all the other things that are happening there, right? So you have got to have a strong opening. You have got to have an opening that's like,
right up in front.
Yeah, or maybe some sparkles, like some sparkle and flash up front, or because most videos are made, without sound on, you've got to have some screen text that pops up, you know, right off the bat that addresses the need or the problem your customers are facing. This is the biggest issue I see with Facebook video is that, you know, you're taking your time to get into it, or maybe you do like 2 introductions. Hey, everybody, today we're going to talk about XYZ. That's coming up. And then you come back on. Hey, everybody, welcome back to the show where we're talking about XYZ. And it's like, boom, you lost me. You know what I mean? You just repeated yourself. So you got to get rid of the repeating. You have to make sure everything that you say is valuable. The other thing is this. Who are you marketing to, right? This goes back into the P3 content strategy. Are you marketing to people in a group, right? This is a big deal because some of you guys have groups. You know, and okay, so on Facebook, we talk about your Facebook audience. Which audience? Are we talking about your page likes? Are we talking about your groups? Or are we talking about your engagement list? I mean, those are the 3 core audiences on Facebook. And you got to ask yourself, what are you trying to grow here? So in your groups, people already know you. They're already familiar with you. And so you can capitalize on that familiarity by walking them through video sequencing, right? Hey, part 1 of a 12-part series, part 2 of a 12-part series, and so on and so forth. On your page, you may want to take a different approach. You may want to take, you know, like a who I am approach, right? And what I do approach. And you're getting people to know you so that they like your page and then go into your group, right? Does that make sense?
Absolutely. And so if you, again, that ties it right back to who your audience is and what the purpose of the video is a little bit too. So, okay, so that's as far as, so making your videos for Facebook, thinking about the Facebook platform itself, and there's some tropes that we've seen about grabbing people's attention, but your goal here is to be stop-worthy, pause-worthy on the Facebook feed. You want somebody to just hang out with you for however long it is, if that's what your goal is to get new traffic, new eyeballs. Anything else as far as video production techniques? Obviously, good lighting, good video, you know, good video quality, but audio obviously being super important. It doesn't have to be super expensive, right?
It doesn't have to be super expensive, but we actually use Wirecast for our Facebook videos, and I use the Logitech C920. It's really, now you can get a much better webcam. You can get the Brio or the C930, all made by Logitech. I really trust and love that brand. We use Wirecast to film. I don't film on a camera and then take the card out and put it in my computer. I film directly on my computer, and that allows me to kind of do, you know, some of these things where like I'm back here and then I'm moving it up here, and all of it's already in my computer and ready for editing. On YouTube, your quality has to be pristine, unless it's a live video. So we're talking about pre-recorded video. It has to be pristine. And I would focus on rectangle videos. I know that there's a lot of talk about square videos and how they get more shares. We have not seen that on content videos. We have seen that on comedy videos, on like furry ducks and dogs and puppies. Right? It works better in those platforms. But if you're making a content video, I would encourage you guys to stick with the widescreen version. I think that those are still very, very popular, and all of our ads are done in widescreen. So keep that in mind.
Really?
Yeah.
That's fascinating.
I mean, there's all like Animoto, right? Who does great work. They have an app that makes square videos. You know, they'll talk about, hey, square videos get 22% more shares, and that might be if you're a brand that has 100,000 people following your page. How many people watching us right now have 100,000 people on your page, right? You don't. You got like 4,000, 5,000, maybe 400, right? And it's not the same appeal. You don't have a team of 10 people making this video, half of whom have psychology degrees, right? You have got to make a video for your audience. If you're a plumber, you are making video for that person whose pipes just burst, or whose kitchen sink is smelly right now and they're trying to figure out what died in their pipes. That's who you're making a video for. You're not making a video for moms and daughters casually strolling while they're sitting in line ready to pick up their kids from school, right? Not all the stats apply to you. And that's where the P3 content strategy comes back into full circle. So make sure that your quality is pristine. Focus, for the most part, focus on rectangle video, and you must have captions or screen text. I mean, it's not like an option, oh, if you have time, add captions. You have to use screen text, because never since Charlie Chaplin has silent video been so popular. People are not listening to audio. In fact, I'm a little sick today, so I canceled all my appointments except for this one, and I've been watching Facebook video all day. I've been tapping and listening, right? I never do that. I almost always watch in silence. And it turns out the videos that I'm actually watching don't even have audio. They don't even have audio.
They didn't even put them on the beginning. That's funny.
Yeah. Why? Why pay for the music track or why pay for the voiceover, right? It's just a video with screen text below it. So think about that. And the thing about captions is captions are easy for a talking head video. If you're going to do like a top 5 tips or like a, and these are very popular, right? If you're a plumber, let's go back to that, you know, do top reasons people need a plumber or top 5 common, you know, like plumbing, like challenges that people need, because you're creating that relatability, right? You're saying, oh my gosh, that's me. Oh my gosh, that happened to me. Same thing if you're a fitness coach, right? Top 5 bicep workouts, right? And you do this one, right? Do this one. And people are watching and they're, oh yeah, I do that. Oh, I didn't know that one. And then you don't have to use captions. You can just kind of put screen text below that says tip number 1, do this. It really like helps the, you know, flexor core pectoral rotor.
Work out a lot, I can tell.
Yeah, I'm way into it.
So no, exactly a fantastic point. So avoid, you don't even have to do word for word. They don't have to be verbose. If they're visual and you just add some captions, some silent captions, you're good. And then you don't even have to spring for the audio track.
Cool. You know what I mean? It's funny, fool. You know, don't even worry about it, you know?
All right, so that's great. So, and then thanks for the tip on using Wirecast to do that. Other people on the show, like Ross Brand, have a similar tip. Is basically they just do all the recording right into Wirecast, and they can do live take after take after take, and they can actually mix in, edit as they go, and then when they're done, they walk away. They basically have been editing live with the software while they go. So I think that's another time saver that I'm sure you've found as well. You're no longer having to pull a card out of your camera, go plug it into your computer, transfer the files over, bring it into Final Cut or iMovie or whatever you want. That just adds all this extra steps and time. So having a quick video mixer in front of you to do the editing on the fly can really help, particularly with the strategy you mentioned before, which is that video should be an ongoing strategy, right?
Right. So I focus heavily on the business owner. You don't intend to close someone right off the bat. Even when somebody walks into your store, they've probably passed you multiple times when they're dropping off the dry cleaning, right? There's this attitude in the business community that I'm so good, people should buy from me in one spot. And my question is that how you do business? You saw an ad one time and you bought it? You know, I bought a stabilizer from a Facebook ad, and I watched that ad maybe 10 times. I probably had 6, 7 people tag me in the ad. And I bet you Ross Brand, he's a good friend, knows what stabilizer I'm talking about. I'm not going to say their name unless they pay me or send me a free one. But, I saw that ad multiple times before I'm like, okay, I'll buy it. The same with your business. And I don't care if you're a dry cleaning business. And by the way, if you're a dry cleaning business, please advertise to me. There's 7 of you within a stone's throw from me. I don't know which one to go to. Advertise to me, you know what I mean? If you're a fitness business, right? If you're a fitness business, stop advertising, you know, the weight loss thing, right? It's statistically shown, like people looking to lose weight, or excuse me, people that sign up to fitness trainers, right? Like are already fit. They want to get more fit. There's this whole idea of marketing to overweight people for, you know, it doesn't work that way. It's a continuum. You've got to say, here's who I am in 3 different videos, right? Here's my personality, here's my past, and here's why I own my company. Here's why I'm passionate about what I do. And then three more, right? Here's what I do. Here's the products that we sell, and or the services we offer. And then here's our top selling service. And then 3 more videos that are like, you know, move into action. Here's our special. Here's our deal. And you show them for a month, you advertise video number 1. For a month, you advertise video number 2. You know, there's this sense in the business community that I want to come on board and make $1 million in my first month, but I don't want to pay you too much money either. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't work that way. You've got to look at video as
a process.
Yeah, it's a process. Stop doing flyers, dude.
Yeah.
Stop with this guy on the corner. You know what I mean? Like, video is a much better use of your marketing dollars and your marketing time, because, you know, you can comment with people. You can start conversations with people. You just can't do that with a flyer or a guy waving a sign on the corner.
Yeah. You're giving me ideas for videos of guys waving signs on the corner. You could just film once, pay the guy for 5 minutes, and then we're good. We got you forever now.
Or like watch our videos, you know.
Totally watch our videos on the sign. Okay, so Deb says awesome show. Ross, you sounds like you cracked him up with the mention of the stabilizer. And then the top fives, Jason says he totally agrees. Great way to go if you're getting started on what to do.
Jason, by the way, Jason Rodriguez is a liar. He's a communist, and he is out here to destroy America. Jason,
can tell that.
I'm talking, and I am coming at you.
And they are listening. All right, so we got to move on because there's so much to unpack on each little topic. We could talk forever on any one of these, but we got to move on. So let's talk about order of priority. So is that something? This is another thing we talked about in the pre-show as we were kind of getting together and talking about what we wanted to cover today. But types of posts, right? So there's different amounts of content you can post on Facebook. Can you talk a little bit about the order of the priority and how that matters to growing an audience on Facebook?
Yeah. And first, I just want to say that Jason is a good friend. He's a co-host on my show, he's part of our comedy team. So
you're walking it back.
Yeah, totally. Like anybody watching is like, wow, Owen's a real jerk. You know, like Jason is a good friend of the family. Okay, so the order of priority, right? You've got to balance out, you know, your time on Facebook. It's real easy to get lost in the abyss of the news feed, right? So be very careful when you post a text-only post. That's going to get the lowest priority, right? Next up is imagery. That's second in line, and then pre-recorded video, and then live video. So knowing that should help you determine where you're going to spend your time on Facebook. You know, your big content you should do live stuff. Your big content should be live. You know who does a great job at this? I'm going to give a shout out to Fallon Zoe, who has, you know, I would say a smaller community, but has at least 100 people on her live shows every day. 100 people.
That's a lot of people to tune in every day.
Absolutely. You know, and she has mastered the art of the community and really targeting a very specific person. So she uses live video as her core content. And that's what I would encourage you guys to do is think of either a daily can be tough, but a once a week master platform piece, right? So you're going to go live once a week to explain a product in your store, to explain a product on your website, or to talk about a core service that you offer and interview guests, right? You're going to do that once a week. If you do it the way we do it, you'll actually, you know, end up repurposing that into a podcast, right? And so now you've got a live show that also doubles as a podcast on iTunes, where we get thousands more downloads per month. So think about that. Number 2 is pre-recorded. Pre-recorded video matters, okay? And I do think you should have a pre-recorded strategy. What we do on our live show is Jason, who is will do funny stuff with us in the opening sequences. We'll do stuff. We do a live show. Jason comes on in the first 5 minutes to do some funny stuff. We take that funny thing, download it from YouTube, and chop it out. So now we have like a 4-minute funny segment that we turn into a square video. And now we share that and we boost that on the web as a way to get people into the podcast. We say, hey, did you like this funny thing? Sign up for the podcast. Join us every week, right? I also will do some pre-recorded tips. The Facebook algorithm changes, the news feed changes. Very high quality, very fast, very in your face to get those views. So pre-recorded has a role. Then we do images once a week. We do like an image meme, a tip meme, and we share that in all of our groups. But that's about it. You know, that's sort of our Facebook plan. And that way we're only focusing on the things that Facebook really likes, and we're giving them as much priority as Facebook does.
I like that. You actually set your own content production priority to match the priority the algorithms will give it by the time you're done with it.
Yeah.
Interesting. That's a great tip. So what do you do as far as advertising for your live show? Do you actually try to boost or draw audience to the live show through ads, boosted posts, content?
Yeah. Okay. So It's a great question. Since the news feed, we haven't boosted our since the news feed changes, right, with the whole Zuckerberg hearing, we have not advertised too much. But on like the average, yes, we do advertise, and we advertise about 10, 20 bucks. That's it. Yeah. And the whole idea is that 10 to 20 bucks to boost that show up to 1,000 to 2. Well, we get 1,000 pretty much right after the show, but then another 1,000 that we pay for to expose people to the show. And in the very beginning of the show, we say, welcome to the show. Today we're going to talk about this tip that you're going to love. Type 5 in the comments section now to subscribe to the show. And what that does is it triggers a chat bot. And that's how they subscribe to our show is now they're in our chat bot. So every time we go live, we send an announcement out through the chat bot and we bring people into the show. The other thing that we do or that the comment does is Facebook is looking for comments. They want to see an explosion of contents right at the very beginning. And in fact, that's something Jason Rodriguez is very good at. He recently did a live stream for a brand and said in the very beginning, we're going to be giving away a gallon of paint for anybody who leaves a comment today. So, leave your comments now and leave them often. And boom, 30,000 views on his organically on his live stream. So you want to get people to leave comments so that it gets out into more news feeds. Facebook goes, oh, people are commenting on this. Let's show it to more people.
Right. Yeah, that explosion. And there's a number of tips and tricks to that are valuable, not just like wasting people's time. You're not just manipulating people, but there's actually ways to make it fun for the audience and rewarding to leave comments and actually give you that first initial explosion of comments so that suddenly the algorithm will distribute the live show immediately across more and more feeds. And so maybe that actually would be a great follow-up show to talk about. Not that we implement any of those strategies on this show.
And do the same thing. Do the same thing in your pre-recorded videos, where you start with the problem, right? I saw my good friend and client Eric Van Horn log on. You say, look, are you tired of your corporate job? Let me know in the comments section below how many hours per week do you work, right? And then come back and you go, hey, if you're tired of working your corporate job, then X, Y, Z, and ABC. You go on with the rest of the video. But try to get that engagement right off the bat, right? Because growing an audience on Facebook doesn't just have to do with your page likes. Page likes are important. We do think you should focus on them. But your video views matter. How many views your video gets matters, and how quickly you can get those views. We try to give our videos a 7-day timeline. How many views did we get in 7 days? And that becomes our working number to beat.
Your metric. Yeah, because that's you're doing a weekly show. So you want to measure show to show, week to week. You can cut it off after 7 days. How did we do in those 7 days? Did this episode do better than the last episode or worse?
Yeah, and you could do a month. But really Facebook, if your video is still alive after a week, you're in a good spot. Most videos won't even make it that long because there's so much stuff coming out on the newsfeed. You've got to be in a place where you know what you're measuring and why.
Yeah.
The other part of it is your groups. Like if I were you guys, I would be focusing far more on an engaged group that is all about one niche. It's on a targeted niche. Like we have the Video Masterminds group. In fact, I'll put that link in the comment section if anybody wants to join. It's called Video Marketing Masterminds, and that's all we talk about there. We don't talk about the news, right? We don't talk about, anything other than video marketing. And it's a highly engaged group. Fallon Zoe, Brian G. Johnson, these are other people with very good groups. So when we talk about growing your audience, think about your groups as well. I would rather that you have a 300-person group that's highly engaged, 10, 20 comments on every post, than a 5,000-person Facebook page where nobody sees your posts.
Right.
One is a vanity metric, and the other one is actually going to grow your business. Every business owner should have a group for their customers, and that's where you answer questions. Questions, by the way, become content for your next videos, and you're able to sort of control the conversation there. You can't do that so much on a page.
No, it's great tips. So, guys, if you're enjoying this, give a quick thumbs up or a like or a comment. And if you have questions about any of this, leave them in the Facebook feed, and we'll try to get to those. There's so much more to talk about, and I know we can keep going about that. We kind of talked about this a little bit. This is your next tip, which is placement strategies. So we talked about the video production and the order priority, how you can repurpose content as you go through your workflow for a show each week, from taking a live show to then turning it into a podcast to actually clipping online or pre-recorded videos to then help feed both of those shows and grow those audiences. Then we talked about placing that content, and one of your suggestions was Facebook groups. Is there anything else about placing live video or Facebook video inside of Facebook groups that we didn't talk about prior to this?
Yeah, well, let's actually go one step further, and the way that you do this. I recommend a couple things that we do. When we launch a new video, a live video, there's a point to that video, right? Last week on the podcast, we talked to Mike Russell about audio techniques. Awesome show, like great tips. So what I'll do is then I'll go share that video on the timelines of people that we mentioned or brands that we mentioned, right? And not even brands that we mentioned, but similar or related brands, right? So we'll talk about, like, I'll physically go share the video, or I copy the link to the video and then go post it on the timeline of a business page that maybe does audio mixing or video production. I say, hey, we had a great show today with Mike Russell. Your audience might really like it, so we're posting it here. Now, I don't look at that strategy as a way to, get 1 million views, but you might get 100 from it, right? If that page is big enough, then as people go and engage with that page, they're going to see your video on the wall or on the timeline of that page. So you want to share your video with as many people as you can that might get value from it. Now, it's not spamming. Spamming is where you share your video with anybody because of you. It's just you and you. It has nothing to do with them. You want to, like, if you're doing like Jason Rodriguez does video on for homemakers and DIY folks, it would make no sense for him to post his video on my timeline. That would be spam. That would be spam, right? You want to focus on people that are related to the business. So open yourself up to sharing your video shamelessly. I mean,
yeah.
It's hard because you feel like you're spamming.
Yeah,
I do. I feel like I'm spamming with it. But
yeah.
Here's what I found is that if I can find 10 pages with like 25,000 fans on it, my video will increase in views very, very quickly. And then that gets me more views.
Yeah, and really it's about, again, you mentioned it, it's the difference between spamming and not spamming. It definitely feels like when you jump into a group and you're like, hey, I just did a video, I think you might be interested in it. And I'm not making this up. I really do think you'll like this because we talk about some really interesting things that I'm pretty sure you are interested in too, because I've been paying attention to what you guys are talking about. So right. I think it's actually a great strategy. There's a bunch of groups I belong to on Facebook, and I've been very hesitant to share out Wirecast-related videos because, again, I felt like it would just be spamming them or shamelessly promoting. And, of course, at the top of every group, it says, don't spam the group. So you're kind of like, I want to make sure, is this spam? Is that spam? I don't know. I'm pretty sure. But at the same time, you want to walk that line between if you never tell anybody about what you're doing, then nobody's ever going to watch it and nobody cares. Yeah, and then they won't get the value that they need. So, yeah.
Exactly right. Your mom's not going to come on. Your mom's not going to come on and share your video for you. You know what I mean? You have to do it. Another great way to do it is post the link in the comment section, right? Go to a page or a group where there's a great conversation going about growing a Facebook audience. Oh my gosh, great conversation. We just did a video on this topic. Here's the link. And that's it. You know what phrase I hate? Check out this video if you get a chance. I hate that phrase. It's like, oh, check it out. Hey, check out my video. Just post the video. Hey, we just talked about this the other day. Here's a link to the video. They either will or they won't.
Right.
Ross Brand is saying, don't most business pages segment out posts that aren't from the page admins? They go into a sidebar column outside the newsfeed. Some business pages do, but I would say most don't, Ross. And I was of the same mind as you. In fact, I interviewed Christy McGriddle. Her name is complicated.
McPancake Griddle something. Okay.
Yeah, something like that. who runs a PR company, and she told me on the show, she's like, you need to shamelessly promote your video. She says, we do it for our clients. So avoid this thought of nobody wants to hear from me or this is spam. Post it on their pages. If they want to delete it, they will. Most of them will not, especially with the page that's like 40,000 likes. They're stoked, right? They're doing their own thing. They probably didn't even notice that you posted it there. However, when their fans come to check the page and see what's going on, they will see your video either in the newsfeed or on the sidebar, depending on how the page is set up. So I would say go with that. See what it does for you. If it doesn't work, stop doing it. Yeah. If it does work, as it has for me, then keep doing it until it stops working.
Good suggestion. Great advice. So placement strategies is a huge piece of that. So the next piece of that is partnerships and collaborations. We talked about groups. We talked about sharing your videos in the right spots, the right audiences. Now let's talk about partnerships and collaborations. Obviously, what people are watching right now is a partnership and collaboration between us and you. You're a Wirecast user. We respect the content that you're making, and I think mutually we both felt that an interview would be amazing, and working with you just to get some content together would be awesome, both to our audience and to your audience. And I'm already feeling that love right now. So let's talk a little bit about why this is useful and why people should do this.
Yeah, I mean, collaborations are going to get you far more likes and follows than anything else. We just did a collaboration with Chris Green at he's got the largest Amazon merch group there is. So it's got 60,000 group members. So we decided to do a live stream in my group for only members of the group. He promoted it in his group. He said, hey, I'm going to go live with Owen Video. We're talking about merch strategies and video strategies. And they had to come into the group. We grew by about 100 members in like 24 hours, right? Very, very effective strategy for getting new people into your group. What you want to do, and I'll tell you, Jason Rodriguez, another great example, he's collaborating with, he's been sort of slanging a product on his live videos. He finally reached out to the company and was like, hey, I'm already slinging your products. Why don't we do something? And now he's going to be an ongoing host on their channel page, right? Or on their Facebook page. So collaborations are absolutely the best way to go. And you have got to be strategic in your collaborations. Here's a big piece of advice. When you go after a collaboration partner, go after them with something specific. Okay? Hey, I had this great idea for a collab. Do you have 5 minutes to chat? Right? Get that conversation and then lay out a plan for them. Hey, here was my idea. I'll take over your Instagram. You take over my Instagram. You know, that sort of thing. And if that goes well, maybe we'll do some live streaming stuff. Or for me, I usually lead with my podcast. I say, hey, we'd love to have you on the show. And if the audience responds to that, maybe we can do like a video collab of a different nature and you know, exchange each other's audiences. What I would say is the big piece of collaborations is that it should be about growing audience, right? That's what I think. It should be about growing audience. So it's not enough to do, you appear on my channel, I'll appear, or like we'll do a video together and we'll upload to your page and to my page. It should be more of an attempt to get your fans, your super fans, over to like their page. And the video they do should be about getting their fans to go over and like your page. You can do that with contests, giveaways, you know, some type of you know, award system that says, you know, we got this big, you know, as great as Molly Mahoney. We got awesome. We got this big announcement coming up, but we're not going to tell you about it until you go to this group or until you want to know what it is on her chatbot. You know, you got to click yes, you know, and now you're in. You're totally in. So collaborations and partnerships are huge. You should be looking to collaborate with people that are just slightly bigger than you. That's my objective, right? Just slightly bigger than you, or they need something you have, right? So if, like, I'm big on monetization. There's a lot of YouTubers out there that don't make any money. So I leverage my ability to make money. And I'll say, great, well, how about this? I'm going to come over and I'm going to work with you on 3 different product scenarios that you can start making more money. And in exchange, you vlog while I'm there and ask your folks to go subscribe to my channel.
Boom.
Right? Simple as that. Simple as that. But you got to have that plan in place. And I learned this actually talking to a friend of mine who said, I'm struggling with my collaborations. No one's saying yes. No one's taking the bait. And he goes, well, I want you to now suggest a plan rather than just this nebulous, let's collaborate.
Yeah. Hey, dude, let's hang out.
Yeah, totally. Right. It's like, dude, I got enough friends. Right. Suggest a plan. Oh my gosh. Hey, I loved your last video. I have this amazing idea. I'm not sure if you're into it, but I'd love to share it with you when you have 5 minutes. You have 5 minutes next week, right? Give them something specific where you can get them on a chat or an email thread, and you can start to discuss it. And remember, it has to be equally beneficial. You know, I'm working with someone else that I'm collaborating with, and this person like sent me back like their sort of counter offer, and their counter offer doesn't even get me out of bed, right? It's not even getting out of bed for that. So, you know, the whole thing is like not getting offended, and recognizing that okay, well, we're in the negotiation phase right now, and so my next step is to say, hey, I love how you're getting creative with me and you're working something out. Those numbers don't actually work to my favor, but what if we did these numbers, right? And you're going through that process, and that's okay. That's an okay process to be in. Walk through it, get through it, and get a collab out, because you do 5 good collabs this year, you could see triple growth on your
totally. 100%. And I think actually Wirecast, by the way, has a secret tool that helps collaborating even easier, which is called the paired encoding. So if you actually want to trade Facebook pages and not have to trade passwords or trade admin credentials or page roles, you can literally just send them a code and they go to facebook.com/device and they paste that code in. And now any live event that they manage or they create on their page, you can hit from Wirecast immediately without needing any logins, any passwords. You don't even enter stream keys. It's boom. You just select the account. Now that your Wirecast is paired with their account. They still have total management control, or you still have total management control on your page. You're not giving that up. So
that's awesome.
We can talk more about that. So fantastic tips there. I think we should close out here, because as much as it pains me, I want to keep talking about all this stuff. You, Ross Brand, I just pinned his comment. He said, this is amazing advice. And he gave you like some ninja fist bumps or punches. I don't know which, whether it would be karate or whether it's just fist bumps.
Like a punch in the face or a fist bump. Yeah, we're not sure.
We're not quite sure. But I'd be remiss if we didn't talk about this last piece here, which is that Facebook is changing, and it's changing quite a lot with the fallout from Cambridge Analytica and, you know, Zuck, you know, being in front of Congress and stuff like that. So let's talk about future proofing. Is anything we talked about, you know, anything we should talk about with regards to adapting these strategies moving forward? One of the things I hear like a lot of people say, like David Foster or Live Streaming Pros, is get off platform. Don't try to lock yourself in to, you know, one Facebook. Don't give over your babies to Facebook, because they can shut you off tomorrow. Yeah. What is your take on that as far as being ready and adapting these strategies moving forward?
Yeah, great question. Just like David Foster said, and here's a guy that I consider like a personal confidant. Like he helped me set up my studio, and he's right on the money there. Facebook could decide that your politics suck, and they're going to cut you. Just period, and there's nothing you can do about it. You can get your lawyer, and you can get your attorney, and you can scream about X, Y, and Z, and they won't care. Same with YouTube, okay? And I don't just mean, you know, Robert Hicks is a popular issue. It might not even be your politics. They may not like your religious point of view, right? And they're going to cut you, right? So you have to know that every time you upload a video or press live, okay? And you cannot rely on Facebook to do the dirty work for you in terms of getting your video out. So what can you do? Number one, build a list. You have got to build a list that you own, that you maintain, that you know, what we do with our list is anytime someone joins our list through our free offers and our lead magnets, we use Zapier to automatically put them on an Excel file that we own. So no matter what happens, I will always have that list. And if one day my email marketing company decides to wig out, right? I can just get a new one and bring all of my people back into that list. Now, when I upload a video, I can email it out to my list.
Right.
Huge, huge, huge benefit. You have to own your audience. Number two, I would say is that know the algorithm and work with the algorithm, not against it. Now, I'm not saying if you're a religious broadcaster, more power to you, stop being religious. That's not what I'm saying. Or if you're a political commentator, I'm not saying stop being political. I'm saying you might have to work a little bit harder to get into your newsfeed, So focus on great content, right? No shaky video, right? No blurry video, no ums, right? Really work on the craft of storytelling and get so good they can't ignore you, right? Video production matters. It really does matter. I think on live, you got a little bit more leeway. But when you're uploading a video, you have got to be in a place where you are just pristine. You are just on point. None of this, like the moment you get bored, right? We watch all of our videos and we time it for like, when did I start looking away? When was the first time I looked away at my kids or at the watch or at the turkey sandwich on the counter? You know, that's when the video got boring.
Yep.
And so we have to do something to spice that up. And I post in my masterminds group and I ask them, when did you guys get bored? What I noticed is that my audience was getting bored about the same time I was.
Interesting.
So, you know, right at that 240, 340 mark, right? So you've got to make your videos not boring. And if you're bored, they're bored. Think about those things. Video production, own your list. And then the next thing I would say is add value everywhere you go, right? Go into groups and comment on stuff. Help people. Be that voice that people miss, right? Like, I haven't been on Facebook in 2 days because I'm just a little sick, and I don't have like that normal optimism and energy that I have is a little just kind of like on the lull right now. And so, you know, I woke up this morning and I was like, that's a stupid video. I should be bigger than him. And I'm like, you know what? Let's just not comment today. Right? Always bring your best to the Facebook comments and be that person that when you're not around, people miss you, so that they will click the see first button and they will go to your page and see what you're working on. That's how you're going to stay on top of the algorithm. Facebook could decide tomorrow. And guys, don't get me wrong. Facebook screwed us. They told us, hey, build your page and we'll show your content. And then 5 years ago, they said, we changed the rules. You have to advertise now. Mm-hmm. That sucks. Mm-hmm. But it's like, you know, it's like Burger King changed the recipe to the Whopper.
Or McDonald's changed the fries like 20 years ago. I didn't even know that. Apparently, I've been eating fake McDonald's fries my whole life.
You know what? Yeah, you've been lied to, my friend. You've been lied to. And what are you going to do? Go protest? There's nothing you can do. Facebook is a private entity, and they're under no obligation to meet your needs. So, you know, you've got to know the algorithm, stay on top of the changes, and own your audience. If you are not bringing people off of Facebook and into an email list, into some type of forum or private offsite thing, then you're missing a big opportunity. So don't miss that. And take ownership over what you're doing.
That is a fantastic piece of advice. And Owen, you really brought it today. So I really appreciate you being on the show. Where can people get more information about you? I think we have a contact card, and I'm going to let you narrate it.
Yeah, I'm everywhere on the web at Owen Video. But if you guys want to check out my courses, you want to check out some of the stuff that we're offering and how you can grow with us, we have a brand new course at thevideospot.net/memes. on how to make square video memes for your business. You can also go to thevideospot.net. Okay, that's our main website, and we've got links to our courses. We've got links to consulting. If you're out there and you think, hey, you know, Owen can really help me dial in my video strategy, number one, I can, and number two, you can reach me on that website. So find me, follow me, become a part of what we're doing. If you want to get to that next level in your business, video will help you get there, and I'm the guy to help you get there.
I think you proved that today, Owen. Thank you so much for coming on. I know you're not feeling super well, but man, it was awesome. I've had such a blast talking to you. I think we really offered some great value today to everyone who's watching, and give a huge thumbs up or a like or a heart if you enjoyed the show today. And Owen, we will have you on again soon. I am positive of this. And let's talk more about that parrot encoding feature and some of the ways we can we can work on getting collaborations even easier for you or people you're working with.
I love it. I love that idea. Happy to come back, and I'm just excited at what Wirecast is doing to move live video forward. So thanks for all you do.
Hey, you too. Thanks, and we will see you again soon. Okay, guys, that was our show today. Owen Video, I mean, give it up for that guy. That was amazing. He seriously brought it and just didn't hold anything back when it came to the way you can grow your audience, not just on Facebook, but just general marketing strategy tips. He talked about the 3 Ps, and he talked about other tips for owning your own list, going beyond the platform. So I think just all in all, we're going to be recutting up and repurposing a lot of that interview for you guys and getting it out there, because I just, again, think there was so much value packed in there that we should not hide it from the world. Maybe I'll even take some of his advice and go into some groups and share it out for him. Okay, well, if you want more of this, you know where to find it. We are here every week, Thursdays at 2:30 p.m. Pacific time. We're in California. You can find us here on Facebook. You can go to telestream.net/WirecastLive, and we will send you an email just letting you know. That is our simple method of subscription. We don't have a fancy chatbot yet, but maybe we'll get one soon. And let's see, I'd like to say thanks to our partners. They do an awesome job, and they help us make this show possible. We use prompters from Prompter People. We use Wowza, to redistribute in some cases. We use AJA cards, Blackmagic cards, and all kinds of great stuff, as well as PTZ Optics cameras now that they're an official launch partner with Wirecast 9. So much more going on, and don't worry, we have a lot more coming at you with how to use Wirecast to absolutely optimize your live video strategies, similar to what Owen is doing at Owen Video and the Video Spot. So we will come back at you with a lot more stuff. Join the Facebook users group if you're curious, you want to ask questions. We'll be live there with some Q&As, and we'll be doing some ad hoc streams coming up soon. Next week is going to be a bit of a mixed bag. We're going to be talking about some strategies and some behind-the-scenes stuff here in the studio. I'm going to talk about some advanced prompter and tally light setups and some cool stuff that we've got going on the show. And I promise we're going to do a live Q&A, Ask Me Anything, maybe even a rendezvous call-in, so you can call in with your questions if you are up to it. Okay, guys, this has been another show. Thanks to everyone who watched. Ross Brand, I saw some of my favorite people like Lutz joining in. Jason left some amazing comments, even though, according to Owen, he's a bit of a communist. No problem there. And the rest of you guys, I really appreciate you tuning in. We'll see you next week. Thanks for watching. This has been Wirecast Live. I'm your host, Andrew.